Hello everyone, myself Arti Sarvaya. Today I am going to deal with this topic Midnight Children as a historical novel. This is my personal information, table of content about the writer, about the Midnight Children. Midnight Children as a historical fiction, conclusion, and then references. About the writer. Salman Rushdie is an Indian born British American novelist and essayist. He won the Booker Prize for his novel Midnight Children. Much of his early fiction is set on the Indian subcontinent, which his later fiction of explore the perspectives of expatriates uh, from the developing world living abroad. His style is often classified as magical realism, mixed with historical allusions, and a dominant theme of his work is the story of many connection, disruption, and migrations between the East and West. Salman Rushdie received uh, many awards. These are some name of his awards which he won, and then his major works, especially novel, includes Grimm's Midnight Children's, Shame, the Static Verse, Fury, Shalimar and Clown, and the Golden House. The key facts of the novel Midnight Children. This novel is written by Salman Rushdie, and it was published in 1981. And it is written in the first person narrator, and the narrator of this novel is Salim Sinai. Uh, this novel is written in between 1915 to 1977, and in India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. Uh, about Midnight Children. Midnight Children is a flux autobiography in which a personal farce and political realism fuse only to disintegrate into a contingency and absurdity. Its narrator, Sinai, combines the story of his own childhood with that of India itself. Having been born at midnight on the day of India's independence from the British colonization, Salim asserts to understand just one life, you have to swallow the world. And this elastic novel tracks enjoyably in all directions to encompass its narrator and his relatives, as well as the notion and its inhabitants. Midnight Children as a historical fiction. Midnight Children is a unique work that presents the history of post-partition India through the use of fiction. Um, and it stand as a primary document in that it was written by someone who experienced the time period described in the book. Such a work is crucial to understand the complexity, the mix of politics, religions, and national identity that marks the modern India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. The story is told by told by the Salim, who is the protagonist of this novel, and the Salim's family and his family is also plays a vital role in this novel. And in Midnight Children, Salman Rushdie presents the complexity of life in post-colonial India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. Through a novel, Rushdie has brought the history of India in last half of the 20th century in a wider audience. Salim and the new state of India are symbolic counterparts. Both were born at midnight on 15th August 1947, along with other 1001 children. After after the loss of one power, Salim gains another for his enormous and extraordinary nose becomes capable to scan different far beyond the normal. The narrator, Salim, constantly relates his life to India, his birth, enlargement, growth, and obliteration are India's, and importantly, his central character traits has been failure to raise what ways things are occurring. The character seems to stroll through the pages of history, crushing with significant moment in the progress of India outwardly in catastrophe. The protagonist of Salman Rushdie's novel Midnight Children is Salim Sinai, and through him, Rushdie tries to make the connection between history and personal. The boundaries between historical and personal in the novel is blurred in such a way that historical becomes a personal and personal become historical, and what is exactly personal and historical remains unclear for the reader. Sinai's life is connected to history in such a way that it cannot be separated. We can get the knowledge about history when we see the life of Salim. Salman Rushdie says that history is not only which is documented in historical archives or written in history books, but it is also which lives in a mind of people who show it happening. Thus, there are alternative historical histories also that are based on memories. Salim, who is both sequence and supernaturally gifted by the past, like his own father. In the novel, the mixing of unbelievable and ordinary, which is a feature of magical realism, appears Indians as the character concerned in the contemporary political and social disturbance, also on the power of mythical heroes. One of the purpose of historical writing is to create as closely as possible the element of the past. Through the form of fiction, Rushdie recreates life in post-partition India in a way that reflects the outlook of Indians whose daily lives were handcuffed to history. Independence and partition push a vast and varied human and geographical territory into a new identities and self definitions. Rushdie, in the very beginning of the novel, tells us that Salim is a handcuffed to history, beginning with Salim's birth on the day of India's independence. And Rushdie is very beautifully connects the Salim's personal life with history as if history is happening for him. Rushdie, through this novel, raises the issue of history being partial or history presented to us in a part. He foregrounds his argument through the episode of perforated sheet in the novel where Dr. Adam Aziz fits and first sees Nazim Ghani, who both are the grandparents of Salim, and in that uh, uh, in that part through the in that part Nazim didn't show herself to Dr. Aziz until the day they got married. This has metaphorically significance because the partial sequential and gradual visibility of Nazim Ghani to Dr. Aziz, which symbolizes the partial history. The chattering sound of the teeth is compared to the sound of gun. And through the sweeping episode of Salim and Shiv, Rushdie raises the idea of fictional history. He questions the authenticity of associating himself with history. Uses magical realist mode to challenge the colonial official historiography. The choice of commingling two seemingly antithetical narrative modes is significant. It is often argued that the dominant narrative mode of the West been realism, faithful reproducing of the empirical reality into art. On the other hand, the East has been stereotypically described preferring magical narrative by choosing relate Indian history in magical realist mode. Rushdie intermingles the objective, scientific, and empirical reality with metaphorical, mystical, and magical realities. Thus, Midnight Children is foregrounded the idea that historical representations are not objective rec- recuperations of the past in the present. Rather they do reveal meditated, metaphorical, subjective, and ideological nature of historical representations. Conclusion. Through the form of fiction, Rushdie described the post-partition India in the way that illuminates a history that has often been distorted and erased. The novel is all about time and the character of Salim Sinai, who is preoccupied with history. It is very difficult to understand the novel if the reader is not familiar with Indian history. Rushdie falls short to provide us with a real historical India, but rather gives us alternative India built on the never happened or in other word failed history. Midnight Children is an important work in historiography of modern India. The complexity of Indians politics, including the tyrannies of Indira Gandhi, the violence involved in the creation of Bangladesh, and the relationship Muslim of Pakistan and India all are revealed in a clear picture in course of the Rushdie's fable. These are the references. Thank you. Now you can ask me question.
Aarti, as per your views, what ethical considerations could be taken while using historical events, figures in a work of fiction, and how these considerations relate to the portrayal of history in Midnight Children?
In the Midnight Children, Rushdie explores the history of India with the use of life of the main protagonist Salim, and he portrays the history in with the and he also used the magical realism and uh, he told about uh, history in this novel.
Auntie, what role do family and identity play in the context of historical events in the novel?
Um, a role of family and identity play a vital role in this novel as in history also there is a vital role played by the family and identity. Uh, s- Role of Salim's family is a family is represent a history of pre-colonized India, and the life of Salim is represented the history of post-colonial India. Thank you.